How's it going, guys? Welcome to the Piggy Bank. This is the Piggy Bank podcast, where me, Phil, the host, brings my two friends. We have Connor, Elliott,
It's a blessed day. Very blessed.
and Tavin Bothel.
What's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Piggy Bank.
And that's
Yeah,
right. I
very
take
blessed.
these two lovely boys here every week on twitch.tv/2PennyGames, along with our lovely chat, Rike in the chat. Always great to see him. Every Monday, Central Time, 3 p.m.
Just
in the afternoon.
Just afternoons.
That's just when we started today, you know?
well, I'm telling you, in 2 weeks, it's not going to be 3 p.m. So
sure,
just say the Monday afternoons.
Monday afternoons here on twitch.tv/2PennyGames. But if you're not watching us live, you'll be watching us on the youtube.com/@2PennyGames on YouTube every Saturday. Usually at like 10 a.m. is when you like to upload it, right?
No, 8. It's always been 8.
8?
Always
Really?
will be 8. It's written in your script.
I always thought it was 10.
Nope. I do
Anyway.
like 10, 11 noonish for like breakout stuff.
Well, regardless, we come together here every Monday, as I said, and we talk about our weekend games. And it's just our casual shooting the shit about topics, video game related. Sometimes we talk about what movies we watch. Sometimes we just kind of shoot the shit and we have fun. We like to play mini games and compete usually. And usually I win. Sometimes Tavin wins, sometimes Connor wins, but like I said a couple weeks ago, I want to eventually like go back and get like some kind of score compilation, or I guess it would be a compilation because
Nope.
I'd be compiling the score.
Nah, I'm not doing that work.
I didn't say
No
you
one
would.
said you had to.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of work.
Everything's
Why do you
about
just
you.
assume? Why do you just assume that it's you?
This is like episode 78. Because nobody else does work without fucking a heads up.
That's not necessarily true.
Where's
Anyway.
both y'all's next
I know,
weeks?
yeah.
How was
Where
your
have you
day,
been the
boys?
last like 3
I
weeks?
too. Trust
How we
me,
doing today?
you're going to see something happen this week. It's going to blow your socks off.
Oh, will it now? Okay, great. I'm excited. Phil, we're doing all right. I'm doing all right. It's been a busy weekend for me. I'm kind of tired, and I want to play more video games. I haven't been able to play as many video games as I would have liked, but what I have played, I've enjoyed greatly. A reminder, by the time you see this up on YouTube, this next Monday stream, we will be reviewing Doom, 2016's Doom, in the return of the Two Penny Game Club. And it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be very exciting. Got some fun things to do with that.
We'll see.
I'm in the final level of Doom as of right now.
Are you expecting an applause?
No,
Okay, good. Good for you.
Congratulations, Tavin, on being on the final
thank you.
level of Doom.
am
You say
in the
you
final level.
you've had a busy week, busy weekend rather. I work at a movie theater, and this is the weekend for Deadpool and Wolverine.
it's a busy weekend.
Fucking drained is what I am.
I believe it.
It's just been hell. But there's some money to be had. Luckily, I got some non-managing shifts, so I'm getting some of that wealth that comes with some of the tippage for people coming in and leaving money for bartenders and servers and such.
Very nice.
But yeah, this is a very, very busy weekend where everyone was typically like, we have a bunch of like kids that run food and stuff, like anywhere between like 16 and 18-year-olds. And they get, minimum wage. They usually on a typical day will work like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. No one was leaving before 8 hours. And that was an expectation that we set going into it. Management team, we typically pulled 10-hour shifts. So,
Gotta bring
anytime
that
they would
cash over.
complain, I would acknowledge that I understand, but put it in perspective. What's wrong with you, Tavin?
I just brushed my teeth before we went live today,
No,
and that peach tea did not go over well.
Really? Wow.
Very, very visceral reaction.
He only did it to himself.
Ugh.
But yeah,
Did
I'll
do it
be
himself.
seeing that movie soon.
Yeah,
not
I'm
looking-
trying to see it. I'm trying to see it this next weekend. It's
a lot of fun.
I'm trying to, but yeah, the Twitter is already spoiling moments for me.
Oh, yeah.
which is
Like leading
frustrating.
up to it, I had to mute the words. on Twitter. You know,
I kind of feel like just muting it in general, just because I just don't like how the internet talks about anything anymore. So, I need to get a little more active with the muting. There are some words that I have muted. I can't remember what they are because I haven't read them in a long time because they've been muted.
Probably for the best.
Definitely for the best.
oh, easily for the best. I mean, it's almost a requirement.
Yeah.
In this age of Twitter, that you have to have some stuff muted.
Couple of blocked accounts.
Yep.
As soon as Elon Musk bought Twitter, blocked him because he's annoying.
I like to see his
very
posts and
annoying.
get annoyed.
I don't like getting annoyed. So I blocked his ass and I haven't seen it since. And he still pops up through screenshots every once in a while, but I just don't care. Terrible person.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a loser.
Anyways.
Anyways,
not like us.
Other
So
than
cool.
Doom, for the game club.
Phil, you'll be excited to know I have started my journey into Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I'm still
I do
quite
remember
early.
you
Chapter
DM'ing
1.
me a little bit.
Yeah, it's still quite early. Chapter 1. But I'm enjoying it. It's quite fun. And yeah, I like the combat, just the activity of just like, it's turn-based RPG game. Yeah. But they let you kind of like walk around the battle space a little bit. There's like a little bit of like active battling going on in it. You when you select your target and punch him, he can like fly into the dude behind him and deal damage to that guy. And so yeah, I'm excited to see more mechanics show up. And of course, if you're like near like a bicycle or a traffic cone or anything like that, or a trash can, you'll pick it up and use it to attack as well, which is nice. So yeah, I'm excited to build out a party. I'm excited to find new abilities and stuff like that. Again, very early in the game. There's I wouldn't call it a spoiler, Phil, but there's a date early on. I got to the end of that date, did I think another story beat or two, and then I've not had time to go back to it. So,
Damn, so you haven't even left Japan.
I have not left Japan. This is what I'm saying. I'm very early. But
That's crazy.
We're definitely heading that way because it's one of those the character loses everything type thing, and so I assume he like finds an opportunity to go to Hawaii and he goes, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do that, and then so I assume that's what happens.
Hijinks ensue.
Oh, there's a very important character reason for why he goes to Hawaii. So
Go find out. Maybe it has something to do with the beach scene in the trailers where he's nude.
Probably.
Yeah, I would think. Well,
So, yeah.
you'll find
Who
out.
can say?
I am excited to play more. It is itching at me because it's fun. I like the tone.
I'm wondering if you'll be enthused enough to go for the platinum like I was.
We'll see.
You will be.
I don't know. I might. Those games are big. And they got a lot of
They are
fluff in them.
big. There's a lot of grinding that you have to do as well for the platinum.
Yeah. I've
Like
already
level
done a lot of
grinding, I should
grinding
say.
this year. Done a lot of grinding this year. So
The Final Fantasies were
that
a
Final
lot.
Fantasy VII series, man, it's a pain in my ass.
Maybe not do
well,
that.
Not so much
Speaking
grinding
of-
in Rebirth outside of like the grind of just 100%ing it.
Speaking of platinums and completions, I think after like it was like 4 real play sessions, I got myself a platinum in one Ratchet and Clank Size Matters.
I've had that loaded up on my console for a minute. Haven't had time to jump into it. How is it good? Is it fun?
I mean, it's all right.
It's okay. All right.
It's not the best Ratchet and Clank game, which I've always said. This one I didn't notice it being as buggy as the version I played on the PS2 way back when, because it is originally a PSP game and I played the PS2 port from back in the day. And this is they're using the PS2 emulation thing for the PS5 version. But I'll tell you, there are a lot of unfair deaths and like hits that you can take, but the rewind feature is a blessing, huge blessing. It saves so much time on like some of these unfair checkpoints. Like I remember one of my biggest terrible memories of Size Matters was like you'd be in a really difficult boss fight, and then you get just hit by something just really unlucky. And you have to go all the way back to like 3 cutscenes ago.
Ooh,
like
not fun.
one really long gameplay sequence, then 2 cutscenes, and then you're back in the fight. And it's a bitch. It's a
the,
real pain.
The rewind function was put to great use in my Sly Cooper adventure earlier this year with both the PS5 and PS4 version. Funny enough, for the PS4 version, they disabled the rewind function because it was really glitchy and it would crash the game. But it seems to have only crashed the game on a PlayStation 4. I'm playing on a PS5, the PS4 version on the PS5, but it seems to be working fine. So I don't know what the deal is with all that. It worked fine with me. I just had to go into the settings and turn it back on.
Interesting. Connor, you been playing anything else? Anything else besides Doom?
Not really, no. Yeah, I'm trying to struggle because I feel like I played something else, but I can't quite remember what it was. So I'll say no.
Still on that Elden Ring grind?
I haven't played much games at all. Barely even played Doom, so no. I'm gonna lock in this week.
Very nice.
It's time. I've been having that gaming itch.
Review next week.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Thankfully, it's an easy game to beat. So, no.
I would say it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, moving right along, I do believe one of you gentlemen has a mini game for me.
It is
one of our hit 10s.
Indeed. Gentlemen, I put together my top 10 favorite collectibles in games. The collectibles themselves. Let me find my list. Not that one. There it is. Here we go. So, hit 10, of course, is the game where each contestant will have 5 chances to answer. There are 10 items on the list. We take a top 10 list, either from the internet or our own personal feelings about a specific list. And then these gentlemen will take turns guessing what is on the list. 5 chances each. Each point value is inversed from its position on the list. So number 10 is 1 point. Number 1 is 10 points. Today, I have the top 10 collectibles in video games. I would like as specific as possible. I don't want the game. I want the collectible itself. The most fun collectible. These are collectibles that are fun, enjoyable. You want to get them because they're cute or they're entertaining or they have a nice like narrative thing tied to them or something like that. I will say, I did not include games where the point of the game is to get the collectible. So no Super Mario games, no like Jack and
no
Daxter.
collectathons.
No, straight collectathon type things. Not the thing. If the goal of the game is to get the thing, it's not on the list. It's just side things that are fun to get. Not necessarily. Most, if not all of them, don't really give you any like upgrades or anything, but they can get you other stuff depending on the game. So it just kind of depends.
Okay.
It's a little loose. It's a little loosey-goosey.
All right.
And it is catered to me, of course, because it is my personal list. Connor, I'm going to let you go first, just because I feel like you're going to struggle more thinking after your like third guess, finding one, you know?
I think the main thing is because like Connor's not a completionist like we are.
So he probably forgets a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Doesn't remember a lot of these things.
I do not. But one that you've talked about a lot, which I'm hoping it might be the case, is I think they're puzzle pieces. I don't fucking know. The Sly Cooper collectibles.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead just because you don't know and you have no experience with the thing. They're not puzzle pieces. They are bottles.
Bottles.
Yes,
Yeah, puzzles are Crash, so puzzle pieces.
Is that right?
Crash.
Or is Crash Bandicoot puzzle pieces?
Puzzle pieces? No, you're thinking of Banjo-Kazooie with Jiggy.
There it is. Yeah, it's Banjo.
Okay.
It's Banjo.
Yeah.
It's Banjo. There we go. Sly Cooper bottles are number 2 on the list,
Damn.
granting you 9 points.
Yeah, but like that first game, like you need some of those moves. Like, come on.
You can beat the game without any of them.
I don't know. I feel like that being on the list kind of walks back your point of
Not
the
at all.
game being.
Also, not pulling from the first game. More of the second one, where they're just there.
Okay.
You know? And
Okay.
again, you can beat the game. It's not a hard game. You just beat the game pretty easily
No,
without
it's
any
not.
of them.
But you gotta get those moves. Gotta get the sneaky thief moves.
I can't think of one that is necessary, like, for the experience.
Gotta get those sneaky thief moves.
I mean, you do. You do got to go get them. You're missing quite a bit of the game if you're not, but it's not the game,
No.
Phil, your first guess.
All right. I know it's not going to be big points, but I think it'll be on the list at least. I'm going to shoot for gold/titanium/ something, whatever bolts from Ratchet and Clank.
Gold bolts from Ratchet and Clank are on the list, Phil, at number 6, granting you 5
Sizable,
points.
sizable points.
5 points.
There we go. Connor, we are back to you, my friend.
Yeah.
Can you think of another one?
Oh, I can think of multiple.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. I'm assuming it's energy sources, energy like pieces of energy or whatever. The collectibles you get in Infamous.
Ooh, blast shards.
Blast shards,
is what
yes.
is what you're talking about. Infamous blast shards not on the list, but I did think about them.
Okay.
They were almost my, as I was struggling to get to 10. They were almost my, all right, I'll slide these in right there. You know.
Not blast shards.
So yeah, blast shards, Infamous not on the list, but good pull. Good pull. You're reaching for me, and I respect that.
Yeah, there we go.
Phil, back to you.
All right. I'm going to shoot. I think they were frogs from Metal Gear 3. Snake Eater?
Thought about it. Not my favorite thing in the world. Don't love them. So yeah, the keratin frogs, I believe they're called, from Snake Eater, not on the list. But I did think about them.
Let's say emblems from Resident Evil.
Connor, Resident Evil Blue Medallions is number 9 on the list. Granting you 2 more points, bringing you up to 11 points.
I'm assuming it's 5 more than others. Was there like a specific one you're
5
drawing
is
from?
what I think of more than they appear in 5 and in both versions of 4. Mm-hmm. Do they appear in 6? I don't remember.
I think they do.
I think they do, but yeah, of course, not important. But 5 are the ones that I do think of. But any of them, the same function. They're fun.
Okay.
Good noise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is something to think about.
good
The
noise,
sound
yeah.
effect when you collect some of these collectibles are important. Mm-hmm. Good, satisfying. Ba-ding! When you shoot one.
Now Phil's struggling.
A little bit. I'm going to go. I wouldn't call that a good collectible, though. I mean, it's okay. They're kind of fun. But that's kind of stuck in my mind, and I feel like I have to say it just to get it out. I'm gonna say the haikus from Ghost of Tsushima.
Good one, Phil. I was looking at Ghost of Tsushima. I you go through your library and stuff. And my general rule is when I saw the game, if I could think of the collectible, it would then be in like contention to it would be a contender to be on the list, right? I looked at Ghost. I was like, I know there's a lot of collectibles in that game. I know they're fun. I don't remember what they are, so it didn't make the list.
Okay.
And that was the third guess.
That was Phil's third, so we're going into your fourth now.
I have ideas. It's just a matter of which one's on
Number
the list.
1 still on the list. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 10.
Oh, I thought 6 got. I thought it was
I got
5
6.
we didn't got.
I'm sorry. 3
Gold bolts.
through 5. Excuse me. 7, 8, and 10. 3 through 5, 7, 8, and 10. So a lot of the list still available. 7 options still here.
I'm going to go with Gwent cards from Witcher.
I don't know why I don't think of Gwent cards as a collectible. That's a weird thing for me to think of as a collectible.
Fair enough.
But I understand it. When I was looking online for inspiration of things, Gwent cards did come up, and I was like, it's not really a collectible, right? Like, I mean, I guess it is, but like, it has function outside. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
That's
right?
why I thought it would be on the list.
Yeah.
Because it has function.
How crazy would it be if I just said the Chaos Emeralds from Sonic, right?
That'd be crazy. That'd be a crazy thing to say. You buy them in stores. That's not fun. It's not fun to go to a vendor and buy a card.
Yeah, fair enough. But you also win them.
I find collectibles are things out in the world. You go out and you explore and you grab them and you pick them up.
Well, that's kind of the thing because it's like you challenge someone to Gwent, and that's the hurdle you go through to collect it from them. That's like the
but that's not as fun as exploring and scavenging and being like, "Oh, this thing! Look at this."
Sure.
I'm trying to think, because like, I don't know how fond you are of like this series. Like, this game is like a standout in the series, I think. I don't know if you think of it as fondly as I do. Fuck it. I'll go the like blue fragments from Saints Row 4, the power ups things that you get to level up.
No, not on the
No,
list.
I didn't think so. Didn't think so.
Too generic, too boring.
Yeah.
What is the final one? That's why I gotta make sure I can lock it in.
Kind of a hard thing to think of, collectibles.
Yeah.
You know, I was
yeah.
struggling. I put this together last night, and I was struggling to think of some, you know?
There's a lot.
There was like, I think there was like 3 or 4 that I was like, oh, easy, bop, 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 bop. And then I was like, fuck, what else is there?
Yeah. And what else is there? I have one in mind. It's just I don't think it's gonna be on the list because it's so, nothing special about it. But what is? What I'm trying? Yeah, because I just don't know. It's not the feathers from Assassin's Creed.
Shocked number 1 has not been brought up yet. Shocked.
That that popped in my head. I was just thinking about how much I complained about it last year whenever I platinumed Assassin's Creed 2 again.
Gotta go chase them.
And it sucks.
Does it?
Collecting those feathers, because there's not really like a good map for them. At least not until Brotherhood. In 2, they're not mapped out. So I had to follow a video guide, and if you miss one, you have to go through the entire video again, piece by piece.
That sucks.
So
there's no way to
bad
track.
collectible.
Don't they have it broken down by town of you're missing a feather in this town?
No.
That's very strange.
My final one is going to be the Doom figures from Doom.
Connor, Doom Guy minifigs / action figures, whatever you want to call them, is number 3 on the list.
There we go.
Really? That's
8
high.
more points. I think
They're
those
fun.
guys are cute and adorable, and they play the little classic Doom sound effect. He gives the guy a little fist bump. It's cute.
It is nice. Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm gonna, for my final guess, I'm gonna go for the slam dunk backpacks from Spider-Man.
Phil, finally getting some serious points on the board. Backpacks from Spider-Man are number 1, granting you 10 points. Gentlemen, very nice. Phil, you closed that gap, but Connor still took it there in the end. The final score, Connor 19, Phil 15. Of course, going through the 10 listed right now, I think we only got 5 of them on the list.
I believe so. Yeah.
Number
Connor got
10.
3, I got 2.
Yep.
Number 10, Halo Skulls.
Ooh, it's a good one.
Yeah, cute, creative,
Fun.
give you little alternate modifiers to play in the campaign and stuff. They're fun. You can in Halo 3, you pick them up, use them as a one-shot weapon. Cute.
One of the
Halo 5 or
first
3. Halo 3.
achievement
I think so.
things I kind of chased in my my collectible this whole trophy collecting career thing, because Halo 3 is one of the first games I played on 360. Achievements. I love getting those achievements with the
Indeed.
skulls. So yeah.
Number 9, Connor, you got this one. Resident Evil Blue medallions, fun to find, fun to shoot. A good breaking sound effect, a good you got it sound effect. Good stuff there. Number 8, another one based very much in its sound when you pick one up, is the Lego mini kits. These the white canisters with the green and red light on it. It's a big big boom.
Oh,
I like
thing,
it.
yeah.
It's good, and they're fun to find. Lego games are real fun in that way. Number 7, probably going to be a contentious one, a hotly debated one. I like them. I think they're fun. They've got narrative purpose, and I know people complain about the number of them. Certainly in the final game there is a lot, but I think overall in the series there's an appropriate amount. Arkham Riddler trophies.
I was gonna say that one, but I didn't know if that was technically a collectible, since there's a whole it's basically like a side quest. It seemed to me because
It is tied to a side quest, but you're still running around in the world collecting
Yeah.
them, picking them up, and stuff like that. Some of them are tied to puzzles. Some of them are tied to riddles that you have to solve. I think they're fun. I think they're a good way to kind of put a little more detective work in the world's greatest detective video game. Number 6, Phil got it. Ratchet and Clank gold bolts. Of course, Connor, you don't know, but these are big giant gold bolts that live throughout the world. Or platinum
Gold,
bolts.
titanium, platinum. They're called a different thing in almost every attribute.
Yeah. You run out, you grab them, and then you can use them to get gold versions of your weapons in New Game Plus, or a couple other things, little side or.
In the first game, yes.
And then
that is
in
the case.
2, are they for modifiers? I forget.
And I don't remember exactly for two,
maybe to get
but I
an
know at some
upgraded
point
version
they
of a
switch them to
weapon.
be like special, like skin. You can buy them get for like skins for Ratchet. So like you can
okay.
dress him up like a snowman, dress him up like an alien
Is
guy.
that with the platinum bolts or is that with skill points?
No, it's with the bolts.
Oh, okay. Number 5, maybe another contentious one. Often thought of as an annoying little side quest thing, but I think they're cool. I think they put you in the world of the game very well. And every time I play the game, I end up going around and finding them all anyway. Whether I'm doing a completionist run or not, I just end up finding them all because I kind of enjoy just running around the space and finding them. Number 5, Mass Effect Keepers. The Keepers of the Citadel, scanning all the Keepers. I like it. I think it's cool.
Lore stuff.
Gives you when you find them all, you get a little bit of lore. You know, it's a good time. Number 4, Phil, you were so close, but you picked the wrong game. Number 4 is Metal Gear Solid 2: The Dog Tags. Collecting all the dog tags. I think these are cute. These are fun. They give the game a little bit more identity. It's a little bit of a mini game to get them off of the enemy guards, and each one is named after a game developer. Always score points with me when you name a game dev. You know. Number 3, Connor got it. Doom Guy minifigs. Again, just a cute little guy. He's cute. You see, every time I see one when I'm playing the game, I go, look, one of these guys.
Yeah.
Pick them up. Number 2, Connor also got Sly Cooper bottles in the first game. Phil named him. Yeah, you use them to get the different thief moves and so forth. And in game 2, they're out in the open world hub. You got to go find them in the open world. And you know they have like a cool little sound effect every time you're close to one because they're bouncing. The bottles are bouncing, so it's ding, 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 and then you break it and it feels good, and then you get extra money if you find them all by then using their clues, and you use them to break into a safe and you steal an artifact from the bad guy of that level. It's cool stuff. And then number 1, yeah, I think easily the best. It's the one that you pick up, and every time you immediately open up the menu to see what it is, what story is behind it, what bad guy adventure was beaten or defeated, or what little joke is going to happen. Spider-Man backpacks. Those things are awesome. Those things are so cool. I did also think about the Spider-Man 2, the little spider drone robot things. Those are great too, but I like the backpacks a little more. Felt a little weird to put 2 Spider-Man things on there, so I kept with Spider-Man 1, the backpacks.
I could only remember the spider bots, and so that's what I was going to
how about
say,
that
but I was
big
like,
wheel?
Big wheel. I like opening up. It's like, oh man, my first scrap with Shocker, or when I saved that kid and he drew me a picture, or and it's a picture of him, or when I got that kid's balloon and he drew me a picture or whatever, and it's a reference to the original Spider-Man 2 video game on PS2, where one of the side quests was to collect was to grab a balloon out of the sky and bring it back to a kid. It's a reference to that. Pizza references and just all these different little cool Spider-Man lore type stuff.
My question is, how can Peter afford to buy all these backpacks?
Backpack's not that expensive. Not that expensive.
Backpacks are pretty expensive.
Go get a shitty little $20 backpack. It's fine.
But man lives in New York, and he doesn't. He's a kid when he did all this. How does he?
If it's me, Peter, I lose my 3rd backpack. I stop buying backpacks.
Right?
Fair. Doesn't make any sense. That is my list.
Well, anyway,
you like collecting things.
good list. Pretty decent collectible list. Yeah, I think some of the things just didn't click in my brain when I was thinking.
Some of that you got to think about. You got to go, oh yeah, there is that one. It's hard. It's why I try to tell you guys what it was before we started the episode, so that we can kind of get into that a little bit.
All right. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. That's left over from this weekend. Anyway, moving right along. Connor, you also have a hit 10 for us.
I do. Not a personal one, but a game rant top 15 list. Specifically, best side quests in open world games, which is pretty much the only place that's going to have side quests. Pretty simple. I'm going to read you the article, though. As I said, it's from Game Rant from Sime Cheetah. It's not really an open world game if it doesn't have a whole lot to do in said open world aside from the main storyline. Games falling under this category have become commonplace. It says some things. I'm not going to say that. While a multitude of side missions can be found in basically any game these days, it's not the same as having the best side quests. There are certain games that, perhaps not as popular or vast, have better side missions for one to engage in. Since gamers prefer different genres, this list includes titles of varying games. This is from October 20th, 2023. There was an update on October 20, 2023 by Eric Petrovic. As the years go by and gaming becomes ever more technologically complex, the best open-world RPGs benefit from more elaborate and impactful storytelling. The best side quests in video games tend to be those that expand the game's lore, grant great items, and are as fun to interact with as the main quest. In 2022 and 2023, open-world RPG fans were treated to other things as well. That's kind of a spoiler. But pretty simple. Pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
Yeah. You know, it's a good list overall. There's one entry on here I kind of look at and go, huh? You know, in the top 10. Top 15, you know, I'll say that afterwards. Maybe you guys will have some kind of, you know, take on that. But
so real quick, it's top 15 side quests in what's the title of it? Is it just RPGs or is it
open world games? The revision said RPGs, open world RPG.
Okay.
You know, kind of, I guess they're kind of synonymous, but you're only going to be 10, of course. You know,
Sure.
That's all that matters to us. We only
Tell me
care
who's
about the
going
best. You know what? You go first, Phil.
You mean me
You go first. Yeah, you go first.
You want me to go first?
It's very first.
Well, let's see. I would be, even though I know it's probably not going to be number one, I would be remiss if I did not say Borderlands 2.
Borderlands 2 is not on the list.
Lame as fuck. Throw it in the trash.
There's a lot of good games out there with good side quests. Maybe Borderlands isn't one of them. Comparatively, it is great. Yeah.
Easy slam dunk top 3 answer, The Witcher 3.
Tavin,
Yeah.
no.
What?
It is number 4
Ah.
at Witcher 3. That is gaining you 7 points. So good job.
Okay.
You know, it's, you know, they're good side quests. They're good side quests too.
They're very good.
Let me just shoot for my second answer that I probably would have picked first, and I'm going to say Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate 3 is on the list. This time in the top 3 at number 3.
Oh.
Baldur's Gate 3, 8 points for you. 8 points, sir.
All right.
I'm sorry. You're one thing where you're like, nah, I don't know about that one. Was it because it's not really open world, or because it's just not one you would select?
I would never associate this with not only having particularly good side quests, but certainly not one of the top 10 best.
Okay.
It's very strange.
In that case, I'm gonna go with. There's a couple of great options, you know, but it's like, which one do you grab? Open world / open world RPG type things. How recent is this list?
October 20th, 2023.
Okay, so not the most recent, but not exactly dated. Okay.
You were wanting to say Spider-Man 2, weren't you?
No, I was not gonna say Spider-Man 2.
Oh, wait, it came out by now.
Yeah, it's kind of out by then.
I think it came out October 18th, right?
Something like that. It was in October. I'm gonna go.
Oh, I think it was actually the 20th.
What is one where it's like, oh yeah, that one. That game doesn't have good side quests, but is it like, are people smart enough to know that? Let me just find out what the tone of this list is, and let me do Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is not on the list.
No. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. But
I'm just going to take the easy points. Take the easy points and say Skyrim.
Skyrim is not on the list.
Wow. Are you joking?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
That game is a side quest. What are we talking about?
I have never done a single playthrough of that game without doing the College of Winterhold.
That's the one you jumped
Why
to?
that one?
That's like
love
the
the
most
College of
lambasted
Winterhold.
one.
That's like the worst side quest.
No,
like,
I love
chain.
the College of Winterhold.
That's insane.
Because I go very spellcasty.
So do I, and it sucks. Like Dark Brotherhood, fucking
Get
Thieves
great
Guild,
fucking rewards. I don't know. I mean, Brotherhood is the second one I go for, but yeah,
the war, like
Yeah, the war's sick.
it's not that good.
It's pretty badass.
any quest line where you're just killing a bunch of things, pretty good, because the gameplay not great. Okay, well, I don't know which one. Bouncing off of that, I'm gonna go Fallout 3.
Fallout 3 is not
Damn.
on the list. Which
Fallout New Vegas.
this is the third. Now this is the fourth, correct?
Yeah, fourth.
Yes.
I believe so.
No. Yes.
No,
that
it's
was
not.
the third. That was the third.
Oh yeah, this is the third. Yeah, because the first one I did was not on the list. And
Second
then,
one was
Baldur's Gate, and then I said Skyrim, which is crazy that Skyrim wasn't on there.
Skyrim not
Fallout
on
New
the list.
Vegas.
Fallout New Vegas is on the list
Sucks.
at number 9.
Oh wow.
So not the highest, but hey, it's points. So that's gonna get 2.
Number 1, game known for side quests, open world.
That's your fourth pick.
Better not be like a.
I
Does
don't
that
know
game
what
have
to say.
side quests? It does, right? Yeah, it has a lot of side quests.
Yeah, it does.
What game?
I don't know. You didn't say it.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is not on the list.
What are we doing here, guys? What are we doing?
All right, for my final guess, I'm gonna shoot Cyberpunk 2077.
Cyberpunk 2077 is not on this list.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it was on one of the others, but I did not choose that. All right, right now, Phil is sitting at 10 points.
Yeah.
You're at 7.
Yeah. I don't need a crazy answer here.
You do not.
You just gotta sneeze.
There's room. There's room, but it's just a matter of hitting it, you know? I gotta
Yep.
hit 10, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta hit 11.
Bum bum. Bum bum.
I'm kind of drawing a little bit of a blank.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Give me no. Game known for side quests. One where you go, oh, this is what I'm gonna go do.
Blah-de-doo-dah.
There's a lot of options. So many options. None of them are good in my brain. None of them are good. Is that considered open world? I wouldn't call that game open world, but it does have great side quests.
Beats me.
I'm gonna say right. This is not my answer. But
Okay.
if Elden Ring is on this list, that's some shit.
Game with some great side quests. So.
It's an open world
There's
game
not,
with
just,
side
you just don't
quests.
track them.
Yeah. Fuck, I'm really out of like good options here in my head. Like I'm really struggling to find one.
I'll tell you what's on the board right now.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
got number 10. You do not want that.
No.
Got 8, 7, 6, 5, 2, and 1.
Oh, God,
8
two's
would tie
available.
this.
Yeah.
And Connor, if we tie, do we both get another guess?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna be so mad at myself once I hear this list. Okay, well,
I can't believe I didn't get easy points with Skyrim. How the fuck is Skyrim
Yeah.
not on here?
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the quests compared to some others aren't as, like, special. There are a lot of fetch quests, a lot of go here and kill this thing, collect this item. You know, good, fun, but it's better than some of these on the list, I will say.
what are some games that I fucking love with some great side quests, you know?
Maybe you have
think
bad
Skyrim-
taste, and that's the opposite thing you should be doing.
Skyrim is like one of the first like cases where I just felt overwhelmed by the amount of like things I could track on a menu. Like I was like, oh my god, like almost gave me like fatigue.
There's a lot of quests. A lot of great ones.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pull the trigger here. Give me. I don't even know why it's in my head. This is a bad answer. I should definitely go Elden Ring over this, but I'm gonna go with it.
Spider-Man 2.
Give me Horizon No, I take that back. Give me Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima is not on the list. Phil, eking it out, surviving.
Can I give you another guess real quick?
Sure, I'll confirm it when I read the list.
I don't know. I just don't know which one. I was gonna say a Mass Effect.
Not really open world, but a great.
Right.
It's
It's
definitely open world.
It's great side quest, right?
Not really.
Yeah, you can go anywhere you want. It's just not the most rich open world.
I mean,
I think
you can't go
Mass Effect
anywhere
1
you
is
want.
probably
There's
the most like
yeah,
open
one is
world.
the most open.
It is. But 2 and 3, you can go to places, different places.
There's like
get
a
side
couple
quests.
of there's a couple of hub worlds, but there's nothing to do in them.
All right,
2
go
there
ahead.
definitely is.
Read us off the list.
What is there to do in 2?
In side quests like the Ilium, you can go and, technically all, no, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's just not.
Well, it's not on the list.
yeah,
I'll say that.
you go to Omega, you go to Ilium. They're empty hub worlds.
Yeah. Well, I'll start off going on the main list from the 15,
Right, great, the 5 that don't matter. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. You got to give the whole scope of things. 15, Dishonored.
Not open world. No. Dishonored. No. You're just gonna move past that like that's a good pick?
It's definitely open world.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you have a space that you can go anywhere in that space. And you can go everywhere in
No,
which
it's
way.
just levels.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
It's not open world. And
Well-
once you leave, you can't go back.
Well, on the bright side, it wasn't in the top 10. 14, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
Okay.
13, Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Number 12, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Which I'm assuming has to have good side quests, right? Based off that. Tavin, have you had experience with that game?
This guy had a point to prove. This guy had a point to prove.
This is what? Wait, what site is this from?
Game Rant.
Game rant. Yeah, this
Game
guy just had
rant.
a
Okay,
this
yeah.
guy had a point to prove.
Number 11, God of War 2018.
I almost said a God of War.
Good thing you didn't, really.
Yeah.
Now, the top 10 list. Number 10, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh, I should have gone for one of those.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
9,
Good
Fallout
placement,
New
too.
Vegas.
It's not like perfect.
It's not, no. No, it also isn't perfect.
To me, the whole point of playing Odyssey is for side quests.
Yeah, there's tons of fun stuff.
Yeah.
8, this is a bad pick.
Yeah.
Far Cry 5.
Yeah, that's a bad pick.
Yeah, I have no clue. I played Far Cry 5. I couldn't tell you a single thing about that
3 and
side
4
quest.
are better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very, very strange. Number 7, Tavin, Red Dead Redemption.
Ah, the first one.
It has some notable ones, like
right.
the man, the devil, or the angel, God. I don't know
Oh,
who it is.
yeah. No, he's supposed to be the devil, the guy with the top hat.
Well, because that's the thing, because he says, damn you, many have, which makes some people think it's God, and he's trying to get him to do good, too. Like, he's driving him, saying, like, hey, you could do this good thing. But I love that side quest. Number 6, Tavin, Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
See, just picking
Dude,
the wrong
you missed
ones.
You missed twice.
Picking the wrong
Yeah.
ones. I would have said Ragnarok over God of War 2018 also.
So would I have.
Yeah.
But number 5, this one might not be good. You two tell me. Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag.
Oh, that's great.
No.
No?
No.
Yes?
I'm
Again,
I'm in on
Black.
that.
The only good, like the writing of the main story in Black Flag is good, and then the
it's
only
too
thing
high.
that is fun in Black Flag is the ship stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mission design in Black Flag sucks.
It's too high. I wouldn't put it that high. I'd put it like number 10.
Yeah, it's definitely too high. 4, Witcher 3. 3, Baldur's Gate 3. 2,
These are the ones that are going to piss us off.
2 deserves to be on the list. It deserves to be pretty, high up on the list. Not at number 2, Elden Ring.
Not over the 2 games you just named.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 and Witcher 3 are better side quests.
Guy should have just pulled the trigger on.
He
Elden
should have
Ring.
done
I
that,
should've.
yeah.
Right.
Number 1, I'm surprised nobody said this one, GTA 5.
Again,
yeah.
I just don't think of in Rockstar games. I don't think of side quests in these games.
Typically I don't, but other people I know do.
I just think of
specifically
why-
with 5.
long
Where's
ass-
Yakuza 0?
Yes.
I almost got Phil. When he first brought this list up, I was like Yakuza games, clearly, but he was like, no, it's individual titles, not franchises, and I was like, all right, well, you can't put any individual Yakuza game over any other one. So
Oh, absolutely. You can just put 0.
Yeah, you can put 0. Those have great side quests.
guys,
side quests.
both of you have only played 0. There are 8 other games in the franchise.
But that's all people talk
Not
about when
true.
it comes to side quests.
I played like it. I played
Infinite Wealth doesn't
Infinite
count.
Wealth.
Infinite Wealth doesn't count.
It's a Yakuza game.
Bullshit.
It is, but it doesn't count. And again, I'm telling you right now, you don't have enough information to stand on that.
But
hill.
I follow a lot of people that do play all the Yakuza games. Definitively, people say Zero has the best side content. You know, I've never heard anything to the contrary to that.
I've never heard a single person put any individual Yakuza game over any other one.
I just haven't heard.
Zero is the favorite, but but everybody always goes, Yakuza games are great. But that's the thing about Yakuza games is they're all the fucking same.
Well, it wasn't on the list at the end of the day, so maybe he had the same thought process.
Nah.
If we were doing franchise answers, Yakuza would have hit the list.
But
Tavin's incorrect. It's Yakuza 0 with a bullet.
well, you hit the bullet with this list, Phil.
Well, I missed. I mean, I did end up winning, but I'm saying I obviously, if I did pick Yakuza, I would have missed.
Yeah, fair enough.
But you know.
But that's
Anyway.
Both times
That
I
is-
picked
yeah.
sequels and it's the first one
I
they
know.
went with.
When you said like Red Dead, I was like, oh, he's got it.
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda. Yeah.
I don't remember any side content in Red Dead Redemption 1. I'm sure it's there, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's just
really,
it's really funny to me that like Tavin managed to just barely miss on like. You didn't say the third one, obviously, but like
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, but I would have gone if I
Ragnarok.
was going between the two, I would have gone Ragnarok because the side content in Ragnarok's actually pretty good. God of War 2018 is fine. It's got fine side quests.
it's not. Yeah.
I would make the argument that Ragnarok has better side content.
I don't even think it's a debate. Like, yeah, it's clearly better.
Well,
Like you know what just popped in my head, that side quest in Elfheim where like you let the giant like squid go. And
Yeah,
you see the giant in
Beautiful.
in the sky. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
gorgeous.
it's a jellyfish.
I loved when
It
you
is a jellyfish. Sorry, I just remember tentacles.
the giant
I bet you do.
the
Bet you
giant
like,
sea turtle that you free, and it ties into Mimir and his like darker backstory and stuff. I was like, that was because it's like one of the like first major side quests you come across.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
one where I was like, oh, I see what they're doing with these side quests. These are going to be good.
Yeah.
You know?
In Svartalfheim.
Good
yeah.
stuff. Good stuff.
Svartalheim.
Anyways,
Nice.
Land of Dwarves.
Look at you dropping Norse knowledge.
That's me. Full of it. Full
Yeah.
of it. Full of shit.
You are full of it.
That's me. That's me. Not as full of shit anymore. I pooped today already. So.
So have I, multiple times.
And my
yeah,
cat.
I have. Had to think about it.
I'm happy we all got that pretty clear.
Have I?
Anyway,
I haven't done much today. I'll be honest.
boys, I wanted to move on to the final thing we had today, and that's a little discussion topic from me. And it's something new that we haven't done yet on the show, and we're gonna make a tier list together.
Whoa, I see Phil, but it's not.
Hold on. Can you just relax here?
I was just
Let me
making
get the
sure.
thing out. All right, let me get it out. I gotta press buttons.
All right. So we're gonna make a little tier list together of the best video game console controllers.
I have not held all of these.
I've held every single one of these, and
Damn.
I have information, and I can let you know and tell you how they feel. I haven't necessarily played a game with all of these, but I've at least held all of them. These last four down here, I'm not very familiar with, like especially these two.
It's
This
a
one just
little
looks
hard
like a
for us to see just 'cause
PS1,
it's
like a
so
DualShock
blurry.
1 with like inverted
Let me get.
analog sticks. Like they just look like they go inward instead of outward. And then this one I have no idea on the far bottom right. I have no idea. Looks like some kind of like Xbox controller with like a flat D-pad, one analog stick, and maybe like a handy capable controller. I'm not sure.
Lagaine says, "Oh man, I already know where this is going."
I guess you're
find
familiar
out.
with controllers.
Let's
I guess
find
you'll just
out.
you'll have to see Lagaine.
Here we go.
We're gonna go
We're-
in release order,
Okay.
kind of company by company. We're gonna start with Nintendo, as like the place that started it all. Let me open up the floor to you boys with the original NES controller.
Listen, it's one of the first ones ever. You could go further back and find some real dog shit controllers than the NES. I think the NES is fine for the time. It does what it needs to do, but unequivocally, it's a brick. It's not got the best buttons on it, and so like I'm gonna put this. What do we have? What are the different
got-
things? Goat,
So
great.
we got GOAT, great, good, okay, and bad.
I would put the NES at okay.
So would I, mainly because I hadn't felt the controller. I'm assuming it's not the greatest, but look-wise, it just pops. It's got a nice style to it. Nice retro look.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
as
look
far
of
as
it, they definitely did a good job with the little decal sticker that they threw on there for sure.
Yes.
Definitely hard agree on the look of the controller. However, it does not feel great to hold. I do like it, but I feel like it's primarily the nostalgia of like just that feel of having it in my hand.
Yeah, I think the like in terms of like generic controllers, it's like the peak, but it's the peak because it's like it is default, right? Like that's the controller you see in a cartoon because they're like, all right, just draw a quick controller or whatever, like something like that. That's
you got the
what
D-pad,
it is.
you got the start and select, you got the A and B buttons.
Yeah, so all the respect in the world for being one of the first like actual good controllers, but it just is aged like crap, and it just really the choice to just have hard right angles, hard 90-degree angles on the like in the boxiness of it was a bad choice.
Well, I mean, they hadn't discovered rounded edges yet.
Yeah, they didn't exist. Circles didn't exist yet. We didn't have circles yet.
Pay no attention to the actual buttons on the controller. But,
Right.
Those
no
Greek
circles,
bastards always just did columns, no circles.
It's actually a cylinder.
Oh, my mistake.
It's going through the controller. Moving on to, I'd say, a market improvement. We got the Super Nintendo controller. We've improved from 2 buttons to now 4, and we still just have the D-pad. But you got some rounded edges here. It's a little more comfy to hold.
There's shoulder buttons on this one.
Oh yes, I almost
just
forgot.
one.
They're
like
the
little
shoulder
clicky
buttons,
things.
yes.
They're not great, but yeah. This one I think is a market improvement. I think it looks great. We're of course going off of the American SNES controller. If you go to like the Super Famicom and stuff like that, have a little bit more color pop. But I think the two-tone purple is solid. I think it's a good choice. I think it looks aesthetically real nice. I think it's got a little bit more of a timeless look to it than the NES. NES is very much retro, very much old, very much 80s, 90s type thing. SNES, I think you could look at that today and be like, oh, cool, game controller, So I'm gonna start the bidding at a great. I think this one jumps all the way to great.
I'm gonna say I'd be okay with great if I get outvoted, but I'm reaching more towards good.
As someone who hasn't touched the controller,
A little small.
Yeah.
It's a little small.
I would defer to your guys' decision
I got
if
big
we were
ol'
both
hands.
the same. But it's different here from you two. But I don't like the look of it. It looks bland.
SNES was my first console.
Damn,
I have very little nostalgia for it. It was one of those weird things that like it just appeared in our house. Nobody remembers how we got it or why we got it. Before, like I wouldn't even call myself a fan of video games when I was playing around with that thing. I was just a wee baby, so I don't have a lot of nostalgia for it. But yeah, I think I think just the look of it. I think it looks great. I think SNES is just a great console, and so yeah, I would push hard for a great over a good, but it's not the worst thing in the world if it falls to good.
For the sake of nostalgia, I'll side with you and I'll put it in great. We'll go great. Moving on to
Here we go.
what I think is not a hot take. The N64 controller is hot garbage.
Yeah, it's bad.
I'm not going hot garbage. It is bad, so go ahead throw it in the bad. But I'm not going hot garbage. That stick feels terrible. The third grip in the middle is weird. It's a weird choice. I do have a lot of nostalgia for the N64 controller, but I could put that to the side. But yeah, I don't know, man. There's something about this era. Something about that era that has a cool charm to it. But undeniably, yeah, like it's just weird. It's a weird thing. And then having a trigger button on the middle grip was a choice with the Z button thing. That was weird.
Yeah.
So
I think it is without a doubt the worst game controller.
I disagree.
Certainly the one that I've had the undesirable pleasure of playing with multiple times. Yeah, it's the worst. From what I know. All right.
This next one, we might fight a little bit here, guys.
Oh, I mean, I'm anticipating the fight from Tavin, but I will rise up and defend the GameCube controller. I think the GameCube controller is good, and possibly even great. I very much love and have a fondness for this lovely little purple boy. But I'll go ahead and shoot to you guys.
Aesthetically, the GameCube controller is great. Aesthetically, it looks fantastic. Great use of colors. Again, the purple really pops. A really good choice in just how the controller looks. I like the colors of the buttons, the colors of when they choose to use white, when they choose to use green, blue, yellow, not blue, red, yellow. All great stuff. However, the functionality of those shoulder buttons, those don't feel good to press at all. They are too soft and then weirdly clicky at the end of your pull. It's very strange. I don't think either stick feels great to use, and the placement of the face buttons is awkward. You never get used to it. You never fully know which one is Y and which one is X. You only really know which one is A and B, and then that C stick I think is one of the worst things to ever grace a controller.
Absolutely not.
I
don't
would
see that at all.
I would go. This is okay above the NES, but I'm not mad at it. Good.
No, I think the GameCube controller is great. I have to disagree with you.
We got to let it go, guys. We got to let the GameCube controller go. It's time to let it die. And that's also my thing of it is it would have been fine if it stayed in its era. I understand with the Wii, there was built-in backwards compatibility and things like that. Wii U is a little bit more complicated. Why is this thing adaptable to the Switch? Why are we still dragging this piece of hardware forward? It's not that good. We need to let it go. And it's the fact that it has stuck around through eras has spoiled the taste of it for me.
Well,
So Tavin just bitter.
very bitter. He's always bitter about
This
everything.
peach tea's still not good.
Yeah, it's Lipton. But for me, it's gonna have to go in great.
Connor, let me you're gonna say great, Connor?
Were you not finished?
No, I was moving to you. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh yes, yeah. Yeah, the button placements are weird, but not in a way that ruins the entire controller, but rather just requires a learning curve, jumping from any other controller to that. The C-Stick I like. I always loved how it felt in Smash Brothers specifically, getting those strong attacks. I was actually very happy when the Nintendo 3DS XL that I got had a little, node that functioned as a C-Stick. I always loved that kind of stuff.
It was badass.
And the big thing about the GameCube is that it feels really good in my hands.
It does feel good in the hands. It
Yeah.
does. It fills out in the palms real well.
Which I think especially makes up for that learning curve you'll have to go
It's
to.
the form
you'll
factor,
have to
you know?
fix. Yeah, which is how I rate controllers the most. Just how it feels in my hands, because I've experienced lots of controllers that just crampy, make my hands feel crampy. They're too small. They're clunky. This one hits that sweet spot. For the buttons, I understand why people think would say it's the greatest of all time, or at least in that category. But I don't. Even with the nostalgia I have for it, I'm not so fanatic about it. So even though it feels super good, those button placements make it prevent it from getting it to GOAT territory.
Why is the tier in 240? I don't know, because this is what we have.
Budget, yeah.
Maybe can I? Is there a way to?
By the way, hello, DD was taken. Saw you did the first time chat earlier. Nice to have a new guy here, or one.
Well,
It's
what
also
it
the
sounds like
images
is so me and
that are
Tavin
used
are going to overwrite. Me and Connor are going to override Tavin, and we're going to put GameCube in great.
God, hold on, I'm fighting real hard. You guys, those shoulder buttons are terrible.
They're not
Though
bad.
they're
Great.
absolutely awful.
They're actually great. I
No,
love
the
the
Z button.
clickiness.
The Z button is too stiff, and the bumpers do not feel good to use. They don't.
The Z button's the worst part on that controller. Bumpers, they feel fine.
The C stick is the worst part of that controller.
It is not.
It absolutely is. Why is it angular
awesome.
in its thing? It sucks. It's terrible.
Angular? It feels natural.
No, in the cutout of it. It's not a circle. It's the angle. It's like a fucking octagon.
Yeah,
in there.
Octogate.
The regular control stick is the same way.
I think it's kind of based around.
Okay, it's both bad. That's bad.
Here's the thing, Tavin. I think it's kind of based around fight sticks,
And
'cause they
also-
function that same way as well. With the Octogate is what you're talking about.
For what is GameCube known for fighting games?
No, but I'm just saying that element of it is like an arcade cabinet.
Okay,
It's like an arcade.
But now
stick.
we are in an era of gaming where this is unacceptable. PS2 is around. Xbox is about to kick down the door. The PlayStation 1 was around. There is a version of the PlayStation 1 DualSense that has analog sticks. This is Nintendo being weird and quirky for the sake of being weird and quirky, and it holds them back.
Like with the angles on things?
It's just the overall controller design with where the face buttons are, with where the sticks are, with how the sticks are formed. The C stick is terrible. It's not a good. It is. At most, I think this should go in good. Like I think there's just so much. like, again, the form factor, how it feels in your hands is fine, is good. The buttons do feel good to press, right? But the sticks don't feel good. They feel nubby and like this is a toy in an era where we could probably take this a little bit more seriously. And the shoulder buttons are crap. Like, they really are garbage. Why are they so soft? No. And then why is there a weird hard click at the end? It doesn't feel like I'm pushing buttons. It feels like I'm, like, fingering a pillow that gets crusty halfway through.
No, but I love the dual, like, the duality of that, where, like, for some games, I'm gonna shoot to Super Mario Sunshine, where it served a purpose, right? So if you held it not all the way down, you would be able to walk and shoot FLUDD at the same time. But if you clicked it in, you would stay stationary and be able to, like, move and, like, aim.
I think that's beauty of good game design, but that's them working around the functionality of a poorly thought out controller.
It seems like that's built in with the design in mind of the GameCube controller.
The pressure sensitivity of it. Yeah, that's an idea, and that's an era of gaming is where, pressure sensitive buttons were a thing.
Well, I guess we're kind of back in that era in a way with the adaptive triggers.
Yeah, but those are way better.
I hate the adaptive triggers.
Why?
They suck ass. The only reason why that's not going to affect the score when we get to it is you can turn it off. It's like, why do I need to feel like there's resistance when I'm shooting a gun on a game? Like, it's unnecessary.
It's rare where that's even a thing that's happening.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even when it does the cool things of, like...
You gotta play Returnal, man.
What?
You gotta play Returnal.
I mean, but that's fine if that's one game that does it well. Every other one
Spider-Man
has
2
done
did it well.
What?
Spider-Man 2 did it well.
No. Well, that's not entirely true. I liked it when you break open the stones. That's the only time I would be like...
That felt good, but I was thinking of when you have to, like... There's pressure gauges, and they bring up the two things, and you gotta, like hold the different triggers at different levels of thing. Right. Yeah, that's fun to play. Well, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
You know?
Jump ahead of myself.
I think this fucking thing, like, it's just, like, I don't see how it's great.
I think it's got to go in great, but...
Why?
Because it's great. It feels great. The controls are fine. Sticks are fine.
I'm being told that stream died, but we know we're still recording, so...
Okay. Are we putting it below the SNES?
It looks like we're back. I would argue hard below SNES.
I wonder why you would say that.
Yeah, because it shouldn't be in this fucking tier.
I'm not that guy that's gonna, like, order them in the tiers. I'm just gonna keep them in the same tier, and then we can have a separate discussion later if we want about, like, where to place them.
No,
but for now,
let's order them. Why are we not ordering them? Order them.
That's part of the point of a tier
list.
Is it?
Yeah,
I've never really done that.
It's like bottom of B tier to top of A. Like,
thank
B
you for
tier
the
that kind
confirmation that we're back. Yeah,
that's fair. Thanks. Okay, well. If I'm fine with putting it below SNES.
All right.
I'm not, but I've never held the SNES, so yeah.
Next up, Wii nunchuck.
We got the Wiimote and the nunchuck. Yeah. We got the Wiimote.
Weird one.
This is a weird one.
I'm gonna start the bidding at this to just be okay.
It depended on the game that you were playing because, like, Wii Sports, amazing. You know, it was super fun to be active with those.
This is the thing where the gimmick of the console does push it a little bit further than most, but it also holds it back in a lot of ways as well, you know? I was initially gonna push for good.
So was I.
Yeah, because undeniably the Wiimote does feel good in the hands. I think the triggers and the buttons feel great. Sure. I think the diversity of how you can configure the controller, whether it's holding it like a TV remote, turning it sideways, putting it in a grip, using it in, like, Mario Kart in the wheel and stuff like that, attaching the nunchuck, all the functionalities of the nunchuck and stuff like that. Like, all of that's really, really cool, but undeniably this controller is of its era and cannot live outside of its era.
That's true.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think also undeniably, even though I just praised it for how you could turn it sideways and use it that way, it also sucked when you turned it sideways and used it that way. It was trash.
Right, yeah.
I think a lot of the buttons are, like, the Wiimote is too long. It's difficult to slide your hand down to get to that 1 and 2 button if you're holding it vertically. And and then also just, like, how it looks, like, it just doesn't scream video game. Like, it doesn't look like a controller for video games. So I would still probably say good, but I would not be mad if it's, like, top of okay.
The thing about it has to be good just because of all the different ways you could use it, as you said. I also remember very fondly playing House of the Dead and just being able to do like shooting kind of games, arcade cabinet games
You'd
with
also
the Wii
get
remote.
just because of the technology of the era, you'd get mad because the motion sensor wouldn't work. You'd be like
sometimes it's just sucked.
desynced and all over the place and stuff. So I guess that like, what are we talking about when we talk about these things? Are we talking about like how they functioned with the console? Are we talking about how they look? Are we talking about how they feel, how the buttons feel?
I think all of it
an amalgam of everything, you know?
Yeah,
Like
some things
all
are better than others.
comes together.
Like I think game like feel I think is more important than versatility, but those are all factors into why we determine where it goes. I'm still going to say good, but it's going to be at the bottom of good. Probably like with whatever else.
I'm fine putting it in good. If I did have it in okay, I'd obviously have it in front of the NES controller.
I'll live with that.
But yeah, good is fine for me. Moving on to the Wii Pro controller.
Put it in bad. Move on.
Yeah, it's not good.
Underneath
I
on
have to agree.
N64, just
probably just move right along from that.
It just doesn't feel good in your hands. It feels cheap. It's too skinny.
It's almost like they tried to like combine the like NES or SNES with like a GameCube controller in a way, and it just didn't work.
It looks like an SNES. It looks like what could possibly a modern SNES controller, and it's bad.
A lot of Wii control lovers in the chat.
I remember like the shoulder buttons being really bad.
Yeah, the shoulder buttons are not good. Yeah, the feel of the button presses aren't as good. Like it's just I would say it's bad. How do you put the SNES controller into great and this one into bad? Because SNES is of its time. By the time you get around to the Wii, it's inexcusable to have a controller of this shape and form.
Of this caliber you gotta step up your game.
It's too modern. It's allowed with the SNES because we're still 2D games only. You know, by the time you hit that third dimension, you start needing analog sticks. Yeah, no, this is unacceptable.
Now I'm gonna step off to a controversial limb here.
Too modern in the sense of like it's too new. Like it is too recent in time. Like compare it to its peers. You know, we're on PlayStation 3 at this point. We're on the Xbox 360 at this point. It is, and you know, spoilers. Like PS3 controller's not going to rank high either. But like. It is like just the way that the Wii Pro controller fits in your hand is not good.
Well,
all right. Well, moving on. Like I was saying, I'm gonna step onto a controversial limb here and defend the Wii U gamepad. I'm gonna put this at the top of okay.
Nope, this is bad for me. The sticks are in the wrong place. The buttons are too far apart, and the Wii U pad is a dumb idea.
Yeah, it just like. There's a reason why that died out.
The original Wii remote was ahead of its time. How is it ahead of its time? It was abandoned and never returned to.
I mean, it doesn't mean it wasn't ahead of its time. It just that's kind of what made it bad.
This point
not
for
bad.
you. Let me make
Not
this
as
point
good.
for you, Tavin. The Wii U gamepad walked, so the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation, whatever it's called, the Dual
Portal?
something, right?
The Portal.
The Portal, yeah, the PlayStation Portal could run.
I wouldn't put the Portal in the same conversation here, but it is a half-baked idea trying to find success off of the hype of the original Wii, and it's not good, and it doesn't feel good in your hands.
I think it feels great.
No.
Anytime I've ever played it, I've also love the idea like how with the Portal, you know, you can be playing games on the TV, and then somebody comes in, they want to be on the TV, so then you can just hit a button and you're playing the game on your pad.
That's a cool idea, but like, And again, like those sticks are so fucking high up. Like, why are they up there? Like,
You made a good point with it being, you know, foundational for what comes later. But my issue is that on the Wii U itself, what exactly used that controller particularly well? Like, what games?
A handful of Nintendo games.
Yeah, just like
well, I mean, I will say I didn't really play any of the like drawing games or like doing whatever with like the touchscreen and stuff like that. I remember building some stuff with Mario Maker and doing stuff with that.
Cool. I would say this goes below N64, above Wii Pro.
I mean, if
Below
we're gonna put it in
N64?
bad, I think it belongs above N64.
it definitely does. Yeah.
No, I think the level of iconic of the N64 pushes it up.
That does not.
I think those button presses like have a certain charm to them. And yeah, like the only part of like the N64 that I think is like objectively worse than the Wii U gamepad is that analog stick is the worst analog stick of all time.
I'm gonna track down a Wii U gamepad and I'm gonna educate you. Okay.
I've held them in my hands. They don't feel good. They feel backwards. Every time you put your hands on it, you feel backwards. It doesn't feel good in your hand ever.
I'll allow us to put it in bad, but I'm keeping it above N64.
As it should be.
All right. What is this next one? Wii U Pro
This
controller?
next one is the Wii U Pro controller, which I think is almost to the spot where the Switch Pro controller is, at least in my mind. But it's still got some drawbacks. I think that this is like the proto Nintendo Switch Pro controller.
The sticks are still above the buttons, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's a problem.
I've never
So
held this controller.
I haven't held it either.
This for me, I'm putting this at like right above NES.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It looks fine. It looks fine. It's just the sticks being above buttons is the worst idea in the world.
This is probably the controller I've had the least time with out of like what we've been talking about, and like from everything else on the list, I'd say. But I think this is easily a good spot for it in my eyes. I would probably, if I had my way, I would have the Wii U gamepad between the Pro controller and the NES. But them's the breaks. Moving on, I'm gonna kind of put these two together, the Joy-Cons here. We've got the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, which I'm gonna say good.
Oh wow.
Above Wiimote. Above Wiimote.
Oh wow. Chat might be mad at me again. I'm going top of great.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
See,
Top of great.
the issue why it cannot move past good, I would agree with you in terms of like how it functions. Every single one of these controllers, to my knowledge, of course, any controller can break, but the Switch had the inherent problem of drift, which
The Joy-Con drift, yeah.
It's the reason why I don't use the Joy-Cons anymore, because mine drift a little bit, and it just ruins gameplay moments, sometimes games, depending on what you're playing. When you have such a core technical issue with it, it can't be considered great.
I've
Despite everything else.
I'm not mad at that argument, Connor. I'm not
like
mad at that.
they die like a lot faster than they used to also.
Yeah.
Where like just like the battery's just so worn down.
Stick drift,
so
big
that,
problem
That's
with-
probably
with
another reason.
Switch.
I'm only keeping it above Wiimote for me. I'm not putting it any higher, at least in my eyes. If
I mean,
get outvoted, I get
just so that
outvoted.
we have the conversation on record, the versatility of the Joy-Cons is fucking unmatched. This is the Wiimote, but good. It feels like a real controller, or it feels closer to a real controller than the Wiimote does. I think where the sticks are great. I think the buttons are a little small and like they feel candied. If that makes sense. Like they feel like little like pieces of hard candy. They don't feel so much like buttons. So like they're not like the best button presses in the world. And of course the triggers are not the best either.
Look at what
But
you're putting down there.
but I mean, you can use one vertical or horizontal. You can use two separated. That's my preferred. Joy-Con is having them separated. I love that. I think it's ingenious to break it up and be able to have my arms wherever I want them individually. You can throw them in the grip if you want that type of experience. There's different grips you can use. There's you can stick them in a wheel remote like the Wii for like Mario Kart and stuff like that. You can put it in like a little toy gun for a duck hunt type thing. And then of course when you use them on the Switch itself as a handheld gaming experience, I think the Switch feels like one of the best handheld you could get out there when it was released. I think things like the Steam Deck and the PlayStation Portal feel better. But I think when the Switch was released, it felt great. And then of course, just the ability to take it anywhere and no matter where you are, those Joy-Cons have the same functionality. It's not like any of those functionalities are tied to the dock. They all work everywhere, which is awesome. I will say they're a little too small. They don't fill out in the hand, and some of the buttons aren't where I would put them. But I think this would put them at top. Personally, I would put them at top of great. I'm not mad at them being in top of good, but I think for me it would be a jump up. But a great point again. The stick drift and the fact that it's still a problem is a problem, right? All these years later. The diversity of the controllers is great too. All the different colors and SKUs that they put out, awesome.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
it.
Yeah, like I've already mentioned, I think the biggest problems for me is just the stick drift and like how fast the battery drains after repeated use.
Yeah. And then like for me on my Switch, you click them in. They don't click in on the Switch well anymore. Like that part got worn away and stuff like that.
Worn off.
So yeah. So I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I'm fine with where it is. I'll take it.
Nice.
Connor, any thoughts?
Yeah, no, exactly. Above Wii.
Awesome.
It's good.
Here we go.
It's good.
Moving on
This
to
is
what
what
I
we're talking
believe
about.
is the first entry to the top of this tier list.
It's goated.
The Switch Pro controller is just goated.
It's goated.
Feels good in your hands. The button placements in Nintendo consoles just aren't great comparative to every other one.
Agreed.
But same thing with the GameCube controller. It's just a matter of adjusting to it.
I do wish the buttons were more clicky. I wish they had a little bit more click to them.
Yeah, sometimes
they're a little too
sometimes
soft on the
they can
press.
be a little too loose, but
Yeah.
I'd say this as the first entry to the GOAT tier is very well suited in my eyes.
Yeah, it feels great. It's always great to use. For a cool minute, it was my favorite controller of all time. And yeah, I think it's fantastic.
And Lagaine, to your point about the GameCube controller being in GOAT, it's understandable. It's just we don't have the same love that some people do. Clearly.
I think people get way carried away with their nostalgia for the GameCube.
No, it just feels great.
It feels good. It doesn't feel great.
But yeah, Switch Pro controller, it fills out your hands. That's the big thing. And the Switch was lacking that with the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
And so when they were able to do that, plus have one that's, just all around solidly built.
They nailed this one. They should never change the formula from here. Maybe a couple dynamic, like little tiny nitpicks, like make the buttons a little bit more clicky. Maybe do something with the triggers. But yeah, form factor, like it's hard to get better than this. Like it just feels so good in the hands.
But
Great sticks. The sticks are great, which is something. In my opinion, Nintendo has never really done well is have good sticks. The Switch Pro controller has great sticks.
All right. Now we switch from Nintendo and we go to Microsoft with Xbox. First off, we have the Xbox Duke controller. Yeah, this controller's bad.
Listen, as a first time out the gate, it's not the worst thing in the world. That being said, yeah, it's bad. It's too big. It's too big and it doesn't feel good. Yeah.
I like things that fill out my hand. Just a course correction.
But it overfills.
Yes,
You've
it does,
overfilled. You've spilt the water all over the table,
And also, I feel like it wasn't the most
your hands are
responsive
full.
either. Yeah. Duke is terrible.
It's the Duke controller.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just debating on whether or not it's worse than the N64 in my mind.
It is. No, it's not. Because
I don't think it is.
the N64 it's just so weird. At least the
weird.
Xbox controller is a controller that, as a basic framework, works.
And like, the N64 feels hollow.
Worse. Damn. Lagaine hated that.
The Duke is terrible. It is worse, yeah. The N64 feels hollow, whereas the Duke undeniably feels like a brick in your hands. And I would rather that than a hollow feeling controller, So,
With a weird, cock sticking out the middle.
yeah, but as a first time out, not the worst thing in the world. There's worse examples of controllers out that aren't in this tier list. We're of course talking kind of like the big boys here. But I think they're the first ones to offset the sticks, if my memory is correct. At least like for what a modern controller is. And I think it works really, really well. I think it's the thing that there's a reason they never changed it is because for some reason left stick feels good when it's higher than the right stick, and it's 100% because of those face buttons and where they are and where they prioritize in your gaming. So yeah, I think the Duke is not the worst controller in the world, but it's not good. It's not good.
If I had my way, I'd have the Wii Pro controller above N64, and then
Fair enough.
I just don't think I don't think Wii Pro controller is acceptable in that era to have a controller that garbage.
I agree. Moving on, the slight improvement from the Duke, a slightly smaller original Xbox controller. I'm gonna put this below the Wii U Pro controller. It's basically a smaller Duke, is all it is.
I've held this like once or twice in my life. I agree that it needs to go in okay. I I'm gonna fight for the NES here, probably just because it's so impactful, so influential. I called it like a generic looking controller, but that's like as a positive thing because it set the standard of what a controller should look like in your hands. I mean, before this, you got like look at some of the old like Atari sticks, like where it's just a big stick and 2 big buttons, and like it feels terrible. Whereas this one, it's just like, all right, you've improved your last controller, but it still isn't. To my memory, it still isn't like the best controller ever.
Yeah, it just feels still weird, Better, but weird. I think it.
Again, it's always slippery and sloped. That is not comfortable. Yeah, I'm with that. It's just, it's still not quite there.
I'll cede to you guys where it should be on okay, but okay is where it should be.
I think overall I'm okay with the NES beating out the improved Duke just like for nostalgia.
And design looks better.
Yeah, I think like
it does look better.
The pop of like the design and everything. Yeah, I think I probably agree with that. So probably just have it at the bottom of okay.
The best part about the original Xbox was the actual box.
Yeah, it was.
That box had character, something to say. It was a great like passover from like having the ports in the front of the console the way it does.
Yes.
Yeah. I miss that.
Love it.
I miss consoles that look like that. But
Menu
the
screen,
controllers
too.
left a lot to be desired.
Perhaps a tier list for a later date. Actual console designs.
Perhaps.
Yes.
Moving on to the Xbox 360.
This still is Xbox's best controller.
Yeah.
What?
This is still Xbox's best controller.
Xbox 360 is?
Yeah. I think the 1/Series X sucks, but we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I think 360. They dominated their era. They have the best of the big three. They have the best controller easily. Those sticks feel great. Those buttons feel great. Those triggers everything feels great about it. I don't love the white. Got a little dirty. Got a little gross looking.
But you could get black.
But you could get
currently
black,
got it
and
at
that
the
fixed
top
it.
of good, which I think is a good place for it.
I think top of great.
Guys, I'm going goated.
Damn.
Oh, absolutely not goated.
That's fair. There's an argument to be made.
I'm going
There is.
goated. I think it's underneath the Switch Pro, but to me this is a goated controller. It feels great. The buttons are the right
okay.
amount of like bubble pop to them, like they pop out enough and they feel good to press.
I'd be okay at top of grade. I'm not putting this next to the Switch
The
Pro.
only thing I don't like about this controller is the start and select buttons. Those always felt weird to press, but other than that, I think this controller is goated.
That's fair. I think Phil put it at the right spot. Top of great.
Legane says
I-
bottom
I-
of great, top of good.
I mean that I originally had it at top of good, but y'all are saying it's like goat status. I'm not putting this any like I'm not.
I
putting
didn't
this
say
in
DD
goat
says
status,
good or
bro.
great as well. If I have to concede for top of great, I'll concede to that. That's fine. I'm not super mad at it, but like I still say this is Xbox's best controller. It feels the best. It feels full in your hands. The battery life was great on it for being
The battery life was really good for just
being one of the
AAs. I
first
think they
wireless
last, like-
controllers out there in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
Wireless. I mean, you had GameCube had attachments, PlayStation 2 had attachments and stuff like that. But for the first time out, great wireless controller. I love the when you turn the controller on, it tells you what player you are with the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, based on where it is
Epic.
on the tool.
That was sick.
So badass. Why don't we do that anymore?
Because we don't play split screen anymore.
God, you're so right.
Maybe the reason why.
So true. Everyone's got their own screen now.
Yeah, and those triggers could go down in history as some of the best triggers of all time. Those are great triggers. I love how clicky. I love the I'm gonna dock points against the one, but the bumpers are the right amount of click. Just a little soft click. That's all you need. Just a little soft click.
Like the GameCube.
No.
All right. Moving on to the Xbox One, I think, me personally, I would put this above the 360.
Damn.
This is
But
bottom
we
of
already
good
have
for
it
me.
so high. I'm gonna say top of good for myself.
It's definitely in good. It's bottom of good.
I think it's bottom of good.
Yeah, it just feels. First of all, the big thing is it's a downgrade from the 360, and that kind of docks points in my mind of having a damn good controller and then having a inferior one. But it's also just I feel like my hands would slip depending on the game that I'm playing.
Yep.
Oh, man.
It's the way it formed.
My thumbs are slipping off of the sticks. To me, the thing that kills this controller for me is the slight changes they've made to form factor kind of net out zero. There are things I like that they changed, but there's things I don't like about it. It doesn't feel as natural as the 360 to me overall. But the thing that kills this controller for me are those triggers and those bumpers. The softness of that trigger pull is terrible. It doesn't feel good to pull a trigger on this thing. The shape of the triggers bother me. And the hardest clicking bumpers, I think, of all time. And I hate it. It makes too much noise. It's too noisy. It reminds me of like a mechanical keyboard. Like those are too noisy. Yeah, and when I'm trying to play a video game, you know.
All right. I mean, I was gonna try to make a case for it being better than the Wiimote, but
The thing with the Wii remote is it's still interesting and unique. And
yeah,
it has a lot of like fun to be had with.
Yeah, it's a weird thing with Wii where like, yeah, you can make an argument either way,
could.
I guess, but like, it's because Xbox chooses to go default that when they lose points on simple things, it's more devastating than we're weird and quirky. So you give them a little bit more leeway because they're weird and quirky.
Also, Wii Sports.
Also, Wii Sports, you know?
also Wii Sports. Okay.
Fun.
Oh, and the face buttons don't feel good to press either. Sometimes I don't even know if I'm pressing it.
That's true. Yeah.
All right. Well, now shifting away from Microsoft and Xbox, now
the king.
moving on to
The king.
PlayStation. We have the original, I believe it was just called the DualShock, with no analog sticks.
I don't even think it was called a DualShock at this point. I forget what it was called though.
Definitely not GOAT at all.
Oh no,
Definitely
no.
not Go. Definitely not.
I'm gonna say I'm saying like maybe here, like middle of okay.
The lack of analog sticks does make the games, well.
But like you didn't
It works
for the
when it
time.
was
Yeah,
invented, you didn't
yeah.
really need it.
Yeah.
By the end of the PlayStation 1 life cycle, you did need it, and that's why they updated it, right? So like it's hard to kind of discredit it against the sticks, but it's definitely gonna be losing. It loses a little bit of swagger here.
DD, I'm with
thinking
you.
It goes between the improved Xbox original and the NES. I'm gonna say between those two.
Oh, it's better than the NES for sure.
Oh, you guys are
think so?
so you guys are landing on okay.
I
I
could
think
see
okay.
a push to good, but I'm not mad at okay.
I think neither
It would be
am
bottom
I.
of good, right? Like the
It would be
Xbox One
both,
controller is better than this controller,
It is,
undeniably. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I say I would even argue. So I was gonna say put this one in okay, and then put the one with the analog sticks at the bottom of good.
Huh.
That's kind of where I was gonna lean.
You know what?
I'm gonna push for it to be above Xbox One, but I'm not mad at this. I'm not mad. I think Phil be reasonable. I love how quick this chat cannot decide whose side they're on. I'm not mad at this.
How am I betraying?
I'm pushing the first DualShock to be above Xbox One, but because I think those buttons feel better. I think the sticks are okay.
So do I. Yeah.
Look,
Other than that-
all I'm saying is that you gotta have the analog sticks.
And for the guy to be like, I mean, I guess the N64, but for the first guy to come out with analog sticks, pretty good controller, pretty good, you know.
Yeah. So okay, so we're
I just
saying
wanna-
that
just
that
up one. Just
Connor, what do you think? What do you think about the DualShock 1 being better than the Xbox One?
Oh, it is. Xbox One, both of them are really, really close in quality.
I really don't agree. I think the Xbox. I think y'all just really don't like the Xbox One, but I think
That's
it's
true.
pretty good.
We don't.
Yeah.
And part of it is because they lost so much ground after the 360, and they never got it back.
Me personally, I like the Xbox One controller more than the 360.
That's an insane take to me. I think 360 is having a slap Phil.
I'm trying to recall. The PS1 remote's kind of like
Not
small in
okay.
your hands, isn't it?
I got one in the other room.
Yeah. Bring it to me again.
Yeah.
That'll determine whether I'm placing it above or below Xbox One because
It's probably that crusty, dusty one I gave him.
yeah, it probably is.
Well, you used the PlayStation 1 Classic controller, which doesn't have sticks on it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
It is small.
Up Tavin's. No, it's good. It's good. Yeah, I mean, no, yeah. So PlayStation 1 without analog sticks, it's in the proper position. Thinking about that again.
Gotcha.
Without
So
the
what
analog sticks.
y'all are saying, y'all are standing by the fact that this original DualShock is better than the Xbox One.
Let me see what Tavin's showing me. Because I'm just the feel. I just need the feel. It's been so long since I've even touched a PS1. I never even owned one. What's that?
I thought, okay, I guess the general consensus, like on the internet, people don't like the Xbox One controller. I did not know this.
I had
thought it
no
was
clue.
fine.
I mean, I maybe the consensus is that I just never personally liked it.
we
Well,
go.
from our
Here we go. I
chat,
also brought out
our chat
the,
is like hating on the Xbox
the
One
Xbox One controller.
apparently.
Hold on, let me put my headphones on so I can hear Phil. I'm not talking over him. And also, guys, just for a little bit of a nostalgic reason, fucking, are we kidding? You know, how good is it to feel to unravel a controller?
Chords are great
Oh,
until they're not.
They're pretty good.
Now, again, this is old. Like,
Yeah.
and it's beat up, and it's.
Oh, I know how the buttons felt
Yeah.
and everything. I just want to know how it feels in my hand.
I think it
That's
feels good.
Yeah.
I think it feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to find the groove, but when you find the groove, it's there.
All right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess
Okay,
it'll
okay.
go
I can
above Xbox
now.
One.
Now that I have it in my hands, I can dictate what I don't like about the form factor of the Xbox One. It's like kind of bricky again, like the original Xbox. They fill out the palms nicely, like on the handles, but then they hard dip inside. When they hard dip, that's when it starts feeling weird again. It needs to continue to fill out on the fingers, on these guys down here. It needs to fill out a little bit more here for your comparison.
Yep. I love that. No, I don't.
All right.
Yeah. Don't love that. You know. Yeah, I'm pushing. Yeah, PS1 just above.
It's not though. The Xbox is better. The Xbox One.
Oh,
Are you serious?
Yeah, it is.
Switching on me?
The problem is when you get down to the analog sticks, it just feels like something feels weird. With how
I
you
think
gotta
these
move
are
your
old,
hands.
man. It's
No,
just
no,
'cause
not
they're
how
old.
not how the analog sticks move, but when I have to like move. Like here, let me show you again. You don't need to do that.
I'm just trying to get it a little bit because I overdid it.
It's like going from here. It feels like they're just too low, you know. Like, and then I have to like. It just doesn't. It feels like it's just a slightly inferior version to the PS2 controller. But
Which it is.
Xbox, it has seemingly the same kind of feel issue in a way with the Xbox One. Maybe the Xbox One I slip more, but I think that one would at least feel more comfortable in a general resting position.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at this. Tavin, you were
right.
too quiet
So-
on this matter. I like. Listen here, man, and I don't think any of us are going to disagree on this next one. Like the PlayStation 1, when they put the sticks on it, definitely a huge market improvement. I don't think PlayStation has made a terrible controller, but there's certainly ones that are better than others. And the first two, I think, are pretty solid. God, I love how these shoulder buttons feel. That's great.
All right.
Before we needed
Well-
triggers, this was great.
Let's go ahead and jump to PlayStation 2, the DualShock 2.
Go to
I'm feeling top of great. If you want,
Whoa.
I'll hear the argument for GOAT.
I think
hear
it's
it.
GOAT.
Yeah.
I think it's clearly GOAT. I think it just fills out the palms a little bit better than the PlayStation 1. This is the classic controller to me. This is the one where it's like, okay, we have found and nearly perfected the formula. The only thing we needed is just like actual triggers as opposed to buttons. But shooters weren't as big of a deal back in the day, let's be honest, the top R1, R2 used to work fine. That used to be fine. Like triggers undeniably better, but the top R1, R2s, L1, R1, those used to work fine for first-person shooters, and nobody made a stink about it until we knew better. You know, I almost, for influence, impact, for the era that it's in, I almost want to put it over the Switch Pro. I almost do, but the Switch Pro feels too good in the hands.
Good conscience.
Yeah,
Neither can I.
I don't think I can. I don't think I could either. But it is something to say. You know.
Yeah.
It's something
I
to
think
say, and I'll hear you out, but I don't think I can move it above Nintendo Switch Pro with good
It's the
conscience.
fire you had trashing on Kingdom Hearts. It's because like. Did you not hear me when I was yelling about the GameCube controller? Like I was there, man.
but GOAT, obviously, but no, it's not better than the Switch. It just doesn't feel as good.
Yeah.
You know, they both feel great.
And let's be honest,
But-
third party. There were third party PS2 controllers that did better than the default.
Yeah.
There were, you know. But I think I love the feel of that controller. It's a good balance between being a serious controller and feeling a little toy like, which I very, very much enjoy. The buttons feel great. The shoulder buttons feel great. The sticks are top tier. Yeah, everything about the PS2 is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm happy with where that's placed. Next up, we've got a pretty big downgrade with the PS3.
Bad.
Sounds are echoing a technical matter.
Uh-oh. Bad. I don't care what other features it has. All that matters is when I hold it, my hands don't want to hold it anymore. You know, I don't want to play with a PS. When I have to play PS3 controllers, I'm just like, damn it, I have to play the PlayStation.
I'm gonna put it between the gamepad and the Duke.
I gotta feel it. Hold on, let me go grab one.
This is the first one I've got readily available for my hands because I got my PS3 on my desk for like getting trophies and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I am in agreement with where you're putting it. Wait till Tavin brings it over so I can feel it. But
Sure.
at least the screen, like you said, it's something that set the way for like Switch and those PlayStation Portals and whatnot. But the problem with the PlayStation 3 controller is it's a downgrade as well. You know, it doesn't advance anything. It takes one of the best controllers of all time and decides to. They honestly could have kept it basically the same, but they decided to make it worse.
Yeah, it's the change. It's undeniably worse.
Yeah.
It's undeniably worse. It's undeniably the worst one that they've ever put out.
Yeah.
This is one that
the PS4 controller.
yeah. I got them all. Can you tell guys I like PlayStation? Anyways,
The analog sticks suck too. They just feel weird.
this is the one I have the most nostalgia for personally, and I'm trying my best to put that to the side. I mean, undeniably, the triggers on this are terrible. They're a weird combination between what triggers should be and what came before with the L2 R2. They're too soft. And it's weird. They're soft, but also resistant in ways that it just doesn't feel good to pull on. I think the face buttons feel great still. No, these sticks are good. The problem is the form factor. It's just like it just shaved off a little too much weight, and the interior.
It's like weirdly light.
I just have to defend the position in bad to the those in chat. You guys must have small, weak, soft hands. You know, not strong, meaty ones.
What PS3 in bad?
I'm
gonna push
hardcore defending the PS3 controller.
I'm gonna push for okay.
I'd be okay with bottom of okay.
I'm debating on whether or not it's better or worse than the Xbox. I think you got to put it below the Xbox.
You do, yeah.
You have to. At least the top of okay?
No way.
In what world is this better than the
y'all are
original
crazy.
PlayStation controller?
I just held the PlayStation 1 controller. Obviously, analog sticks away,
gotta
it still feels
feel
better.
one
to
for
hold.
yourself.
But I'll say this controller had a great battery life. This controller had a really good battery life. And like, I mean, this is the same one I bought when I first got my PlayStation 3. This is the same controller. Works perfectly, no drift. The sticks didn't wear off. That's a problem with the PS4 controllers. The sticks would wear off. And
I'm not
like
letting it slide. I'm on their side. I think it belongs at the bottom of okay.
the buttons feel great, man. The buttons do feel good. It's the form factor and the triggers, man, that really hold it back. It's too hollow.
Really brings it down.
Yeah, it's too hollow. It's too small. It's too skinny. And those triggers are atrocious.
You're breaking my heart here.
Bottom of okay, and it breaks my heart to
Bottom
say
of
it,
okay
but
is
yeah,
good.
it's bottom of okay.
I'll
It
take that.
hurts to say it. Now, I mean, it's all up from here, guys. There's no,
It really
there's.
is.
n-
I'll be
like-
right back. I'm gonna go grab mine.
Yeah. So yeah, the DualShock 4, for a long time and still debatably, my favorite controller of all time. It's top 3 for sure. I think this easily goes in the GOATed conversation. The only problem I have with this controller is, I got 2 problems actually. Is the battery life is not good, and the sticks. The sticks are too slippery. You slip off of the sticks too quickly, and a lot of the launch controllers, the rubber on the sticks all peeled off way too quickly. But yeah, I think DualShock 4 easily goes in GOATed.
Yeah, bottom of goated for now. PS2 is better, I think.
No, I think this is better. I think this is better than PS2.
No, you're right.
Here's my thing.
No.
Here's my thing, though.
Here, let me
Can we really have 3 PlayStation controllers and goated?
Absolutely, we fucking can. Because guess what? There's going to be a 4th one in there too.
Hey, they've made the best controllers. They just have.
Oh, I get you. Because you're already putting DualSense in there. Yeah, my thing is like, the question for me really goes: does this go below or above the Switch Pro? Because now it's just preference at this point. I don't think either controller really does
the
anything
Switch
bad.
Pro and PS2.
I think the triggers are better on the 4.
Yeah, they are better.
Yeah.
But I think I'm with Phil. I think the Switch just fills out my hand a bit more.
It does.
To where that's really it. And also it has the touchpad, which I've never really been the biggest fan of.
I like the touchpad.
I mean, it's not like...
When they use it in cool and creative ways, I like it, you know? You guys got to go play Infamous Second Son. That shit was dope.
I like the touchpad. I don't love the touchpad.
I'll say this is not the best D-pad in the world. Not the best D-pad. Let me feel. That's a 3. Do we have a 2 on the table? We don't have a 2 on the table. 2 and the 1 are basically the same. No, the 4 has a better D-pad than that.
I agree. It's got a better D-pad than the 1 and the 2.
And listen, it was a hard switch moving away from a select button to a share button.
Yeah.
But the share button, like, that was a smart move. That was a really smart move looking back.
And you gotta think, like, there's also the little light that changes. Like, some games use it in cool ways.
Yeah, I think the light is obnoxious and it pulls away battery power in a way that isn't necessary. But you're right. The detail of, like, when your health is full, it's green. When you're on low, it's red.
That's
or
cool.
you know, if you make a morality choice, it changes colors and stuff like that. That's cool. I love the touchpad because it adds more buttons in creative ways, and you don't need to use all of the buttons as a game dev. You can just be, it's the map button, sure, fine. But you know, it can also, you know, the swipingness of it functions as 2, sometimes up to 4 buttons, depending on what part of the touchpad you touch. I think it was a really good choice. Speaker. I just remembered the speaker. That is gonna dock a point for it. So I'm gonna with the speaker on there, I'm gonna definitively say lower than the Switch Pro, because that speaker sounds terrible. It's a terrible speaker in the controller, and it's obnoxious.
It's like
and
the
annoying.
Wiimote speaker. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, and I don't like it.
I think we're good where we are.
Touchpad is the worst feature. Are you crazy? The touchpads are awesome, and it only got better.
Nah,
This one.
It's the worst feature on a great controller.
No,
Tom.
the
I think
speaker's
is
the worst.
Game's point.
The speaker is the worst.
But I mean, like,
Okay.
still, point made. Touchpad makes it below that, and the speaker below.
Now, DualSense, listen, undeniably, PlayStation was in need of a change. You know, we had 4 of the same thing, right? Essentially, you know, just small differences. So I think the DualSense is great. I love the choice to go white. You know, I've always said I think the PlayStation 5 is a sexy ass console. I love everything about this controller. I think it's all fantastic. The choice to put a microphone in it, I don't love so much, but I kind of understand why they went that route.
Some games could use it.
I do like that there's a mute button on the controller. And, you know, when I plug in my headphones, it still functions as a mute button no matter what. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's a lot great about this controller. Battery life is certainly a problem.
I think that's my
touchpad
biggest
is-
gripe with the PS5 controller is the battery life.
Battery life sucks. Buttons feel great. D-pad feels great. Sticks are awesome. The grippiness of that stick, you feel that grip on that stick. That's awesome. That's exactly what the PS4 was missing. The triggers are awesome. Connor, you talk shit about the adaptive triggers. I love them. I think they're great. I think they can be annoying. So it is all, you know, dependent upon the dev implementation of it. But when it works, god damn does it work. It's awesome.
I just want to shout out for both the PS4 and the DualSense 5. For just the DualSense, sorry, not the DualSense 5. I love that, like, the top of the controller is like nice and slick and sleek, but the bottom is like slightly textured, so it'll like stay in your hands comfy.
I would
and it doesn't,
absolutely
like,
get
slide
freaky
around.
with a PS5 controller, Lagaine. Absolutely, I would.
PS5.
Yeah.
You said
Not
PS5,
freaky?
not the controller.
We getting freaky with this. Oh, with the PS5, would I get freaky? Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm sliding all up in that disc
pop
tray
the
that
collar.
I don't have.
He has no hole to put it in, though.
I have no hold.
Not like me.
I'll find one though. I'll find one. You know? No, I think everything about the DualSense is better than the DualShock 4 in every single way. I think the touchpad going bigger was the right choice. It being bigger now, it makes more sense, because it takes up more space, but it doesn't feel in the way. It kind of feels a little cluttered on the DualShock 4, the touchpad, because it's so small and the controller itself is kind of small. There's so much handle. There's a lot of handle on the DualShock 4. God, these triggers feel great. Been a long time since I've touched a PS4 controller. But yeah, in every marketable way, the PS5 is just better than everything PlayStation's done, in my opinion.
If I may be so bold, I will say I like the face buttons on the PS4 better than the PS5.
I think we're down to preference at that point. I like that the PS5 looks bubbly, like how the Xbox One kind of looks bubbly, but it doesn't feel bubbly. I love that it's a flat button and it has the right amount of click.
No, I like that, but I'm saying I like the more resistance I get from the PS4 face button.
I feel more resistant in the DualSense, but I feel more feedback on the 4.
Maybe that's what I'm confusing.
Like it definitely, like, I feel like I'm pressing the button more than I am with the Sense. I kind of understand what you mean by that. But yeah, you know what I do miss, and it's funny when you play older games and for example, Doom. Right? Doom right now, I don't know if you gentlemen have gotten the BFG yet or not.
No.
But the BFG is colored green, right? And you press the triangle button to switch to the BFG in that game. And I was like, that's a weird choice. Why'd you choose to do that? But it's green because the button on the controller is green. You know, for the PlayStation. Kind of matches that way. I don't know if because it's a third-party game, it went to everything, and obviously, you know, this guy's yellow up here. But it just kind of feels like, well, the BFG was always green, so I think they, with the PlayStation 4 controller in mind, they chose that way. All of that to say, I miss when there was colored face buttons.
Yeah.
I don't like that they're all gray now. I don't like that, you know.
You say you like the color. The color sucks. The white tech color. Between this and the PS5, both those things suck.
What are you saying? What are you saying right now?
I thought you were talking about the face buttons.
No, the color.
It being white?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
I mean, just white tech isn't as good as, like, the black or
I
in this
like
case, the
white
gray.
tech. I like white tech. You know,
I'll say I like my Spider-Man one better than my plain one.
Yeah, I mean, I use the Elite, and which
I like my God of War one better than the plain one.
yeah. I use the Elite, not the Elite. What do they call it? The Edge. I use the Edge, and
Tavin's edging.
that's definitely that's a better controller than this one. It's just it changed the texture of the controller. That's something we haven't really talked about before. Is the texture of these controllers? Yeah, PlayStation
was talking
Edge.
about
God
before.
damn, it's so fucking
Thanks, Gray Goddard, first time chat. We agree with the list too.
agree with the whole list. Thank you, Gray Goddard. Yeah, this is the way it's supposed to be.
Not done yet though. We got.
What are the rest of these?
Those four
I
are
don't
ones
know.
I've already discounted from the beginning, guys. I was like,
List God.
I was gonna say I don't know what these are. So
exactly. I'd already mentioned these before we started actually ranking them. So
is there anything here?
No. So someone liked those, I guess.
Is there anything here that we would change now that we're at the end of it? I would just bring the GameCube down.
No, I think this is a great list.
We put the GameCube controller above the PlayStation 1. What are we doing?
Also, GameCube should be above the NES. I'm gonna say
SNES?
SNES. I've never
No.
played it, never held it,
No.
but I'm gonna say it's
No.
better.
No.
As
The Joy-Cons are
Connor,
better than the GameCube.
Connor, Joy-Cons are better than what?
GameCube.
Nah.
No.
Standing by.
Anyway,
Drift.
We're going a little long here on the Piggy Bank podcast, but I think it's a good place to stop it.
Yeah.
Boys, thank you so much for joining me in this lovely discussion on all of our topics. The top 10 collectibles for Tavin, the top 10 side quests, which was frankly kind of a shitty list from Connor.
Terrible list.
And
It wasn't that
yeah,
bad.
I think that's a
It
solid
wasn't.
tier list we've created for our controllers.
I like it. Phil, take a screenshot of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is it's Control Alt print screen, right?
Should just be able to just print screen.
Yeah. Control print screen if you just try to do one.
Oh, okay.
Anyways,
All right.
close out the show.
Close the
Yeah. Make sure to check out all of our links in the description if you're watching on YouTube. And, give us a follow on social media. Give us a subscribe. Give us a little comment. But let's up that engagement, guys. Please.
Get it going. What are we doing?
But yeah, thanks so much for joining us. All of the people on our lovely chat we've been interacting with for this final segment in this little tier list. And thanks for any of the follows that y'all decided to give us or just for lurking in chat. We appreciate it. And boys, let's go ahead and say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.